When I first heard about the Israel trip, I was apprehensive because it was expensive, it's so far away. I've traveled around the world before, but I've never been in the Middle East. Part of that was just, a little scary to me.
I was honestly kind of scared. I'd heard so many things in the news about it, and I just felt like maybe it wasn't the right time to go.
We had been invited to go on the trip the year before and we passed on it. And this time I just felt God pulling me to say, you need to go this time.
My family was actually also really apprehensive about me going, and they were listening to the news the same as we were, and they just felt like there might be a better time.
I still have a grandmother who's 89 years old, and since she had done it in the 90s, she was ecstatic for me to be able to experience the same thing that she had done in previous years and to share that with her granddaughter.
People had mixed reactions. Some people thought we were crazy. Some people really supported that we were going.
Yeah, my mom was a little concerned, but she got over it.
Some people were worried about what's going on in that part of the world, but my impression was, well, that part of the world has been in turmoil since the beginning of time. There's never going to be a perfect time to go, so we just went.
The most fun moments that I experienced was definitely the camel ride. Being able to go into the desert living and meet and see the people, how they actually live in the tents and how they still ride camels today.
The Dead Sea was really fun. It was surprising to me because I knew people's bodies floated, but when everyone got in and they instructed us to just sit and your legs would kind of bloop right up, and it was just kind of funny, and to see all the people you go to church with kind of floating around was kind of funny.
A lot of what was fun about the trip was just getting to know everybody on the trip. We knew quite a few people from church before we went, but we met so many neat people on the trip, and everybody had their own story and everybody had their own life experiences and different ways they came to actually making it on the trip. And it was just really fun getting to know and make so many new friends.
I did really feel safe on the trip. A lot of that had to do with Jerusalem Tours, going with the company that knows the ins and outs. They're local people. They know all the places to keep us in. They know all the places to keep us out. They know all the reputable shops to take you to.
I felt completely safe the whole time, and it really kind of made me wonder what all the news stories were really about, and maybe that they were overinflated, because it just felt so safe while we were there.
I felt completely safe, very safe. I probably felt safer in Israel than I would in downtown major cities. And being from Los Angeles and now living in Phoenix and being a flight attendant and traveling all over the United States, I can say I felt safer in Israel with the group than I would be on an overnight traveling for work. The hotels were phenomenal in Israel. I was rather surprised.
They were very modern, which I wasn't expecting. I'm not exactly sure what I was expecting, but they were so modern. They were so nice. They were as nice or nicer than any place that you'd stay on any other trip.
Being a flight attendant and staying at Marriott's, Sheratons, and DoubleTrees, these were definitely 4 and 5 star.
Most of them, some of them had Wi-Fi, even so we could just connect a little bit and check in and let our family know how we were doing, maybe sharing some pictures. But overall, they were really nice hotels. It was like the comforts of America, but in Israel. There were so many impactful moments on this trip. Like when we were on the boat floating in the Sea of Galilee, and you can see the water, you're on the water, you can see the coastline, you can literally picture what it was like when Jesus was walking there, talking there, getting his men together, seeing him in Capernaum. It was just amazing. Also, when you're up on the Mount of Beatitudes and you can picture where he was when he said all those things to them. And you can see it overlooking the sea. It was just, wow, it was just really amazing.
I got the great opportunity to get baptized in the Jordan River, and by my pastor of Central. And although I had been baptized before, this was a renewal.
That was one of the big reasons why we wanted to go, because it was just so powerful and just a life-changing thing to know that you've been dipped in the Jordan River.
The most impactful moment for myself being in Israel was going to the Holocaust Museum And I have two grandparents that are going to be 90 years old this year in just a matter of months that lived through that period. And now I was able to walk through the footsteps of the Jews and what they experienced, and then to be able to come home and share that same experience in real life that was just not very long ago, which my grandparents lived through. And that was a very touching, heartbreaking moment.
At the very end of the day, we're at the Sea of Galilee, and we're just overlooking the waters, and the sun just going down and setting, and a mist came across the water, and just the sense of reality of where you were and what went on there was just huge.
Being in the upper room in Jerusalem where the Last Supper happened, when you stand there and you picture what really went on there, man, the goosebumps that you got are just, that's the understatement of the century. There were some amazing moments that we'll never forget from this trip.
Another really impactful moment for me is when we were in the Garden of Gethsemane. And I grabbed my husband and really just took a quick minute for just the impact of being there in the garden where Jesus was praying, and it gives me chill bumps just talking about it. But that was another really important kind of transforming time for me, where I could sort of catapult myself right into that moment, and that really meant a lot to me. If I were to sum up the trip with one thought, it would be life-changing. It was so transforming while I was there, and ever since I've read the Bible, since I've gotten home, it's just completely changed everything.
It was just really powerful, and it really changed the way that I read the Bible. And because when I read the words, I can visualize where I was, where I walked, the places I saw, and it just totally changes the experience.
I would have to say it was 3D. It took the Bible from black and white and just words on paper and brought it to real life. And I am so audio and visual learner that it really opened up to being able to read the Bible in full color.
You know, if you're considering going on a trip to Israel like this, there's 2 times in my life that I was never the same after. It was when I gave my life to Christ, and it was when I got married. I'll never be the same because of those 2 days. The 3rd time in my life that I will never be the same because of is this trip to Israel. It just changed my whole life, changed my outlook on it, changed my perspectives on everything, changed my outlook on things. I read the Word differently.
I would recommend it wholeheartedly. I had so many apprehensions, and now I'm just so glad I went, and I would have been very sorry to miss it. It was transforming, it was life-changing.
You can't wait for the right time. You can't wait for having enough money, having enough time off of work, or the right political situation over there. You just have to commit and go.
Jerusalem Tours did an amazing job with hospitality and making us completely comfortable. The hotels, the food, the travel, the itinerary, everything was planned out perfect. They could not have done a better job in taking care of us, and the trip was a phenomenal, phenomenal trip.